other responsibility. So there you have it. Chris Wright, another announcement out of Mar-a-Lago. President-elect Trump announcing that one of his attorneys, Will Scharf, will serve as White House Staff Secretary. That's an important position that holds a lot of power. It's essentially a gatekeeper for a bunch of the documents that'll come through the White House, including executive orders. So these announcements, as we get later into the day, are starting to pump out of Mar-a-Lago.
We're still waiting for the president-elect's choice for Treasury Secretary. Some of the president-elect's cabinet picks may cause headaches for Republicans on Capitol Hill. Here's Fox's Chad Pergram.
Elise Stefanik for UN Ambassador. Michael Waltz for National Security Advisor. Former Congressman Matt Gaetz quit one day after the president-elect tapped him for Attorney General. Republicans struggled over the past 2 years to govern with a narrow majority. The thin majority next year likely creates similar headaches. It's unconstitutional to appoint someone to the House. That dictates special elections. Some of those could take months. But House Speaker Mike Johnson hopes to fill seats quickly, speaking with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis about the Gaetz seat. House Republicans often leaned on Democrats to avoid government shutdowns and lift the debt ceiling. Democrats aren't promising they'll bail out Republicans next year.
America is listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
Now underway, the trial of Venezuela.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He got an extension. I'm Sasha Nixon. Here's what's trending this hour. IU head football coach Curt Cignetti and his family have said that they enjoy being in Bloomington. John Herrick reports that a contract extension means they will stay.
This contract keeps him at IU through November of 2032 and makes him the highest paid IU employee ever with an average annual salary of $8 million a year. IU athletic director Scott Dolson said after meeting Cignetti, he knew he was the perfect fit and he loves how the fan base has rallied around this team and made Memorial Stadium the place to be on Saturday afternoons. Reporting in Bloomington, John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And IU's Board of Trustees recently made some changes to the school's protest policies. The university's policies essentially ban most protests, speeches, and more between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m., but students will be allowed to hold previously scheduled or approved events during those hours. Lawyers investigating Indy Mayor Joe Hogsett over sexual harassment claims met with city leaders Friday. Kurt Darling reports.
They laid out their investigative plan to a special committee of city-county councilors. The lawyers say they intend to see if anyone in management or leadership roles within the mayor's office knew about the abuse and did not act properly to address it. They intend to conduct interviews and sift through other evidence and plan to meet again with the committee in December. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now here's the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Tonight, mostly cloudy, low temperatures in the lower 40s, and for Sunday, temperatures slightly warmer, mostly cloudy, highs in the lower 60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation, like your neighbor Jerry.
When we first started looking for different options, we went to the internet. Really, we did choose Galaxy, and definitely happy that we did. We first had our front porch and our pool deck done. Decided we loved it so much, we had them out about 10, 11 months later to finish up and do our back porch.
Commercial or residential, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and it comes with a 15-year warranty.
The crews at Galaxy were great. They actually cared about my property, very punctual, knowledgeable, and just a great group of workers.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings works for any area like patios, garage floors, driveways, and around pools.
I'm 100% satisfied. It's not slippery and it's not hot. I was very impressed with the product. It's amazing that I don't burn my feet and my 6-year-old doesn't fall.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com and remember to like us on Facebook, GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com. We are out of this world.
Don't stress about plumbing repairs. Call LD Smith for honest advice and a free second opinion on any estimate.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Through their service, veterans have our backs. Now we should have theirs. Learn more at GotYour6.org.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to return to the microphone here in Indianapolis once again with producer Jack beep, 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 on the board, pushing the buttons to do the things to make the show function. You can find my podcasts uploaded to Saturday Night on the Circle.fireside.fm, as well as cataloged on WIBC.com. Stay tuned for later in the show. Abdul Shabazz is going to join the program, and he's going to help recap the story that broke this week, shaking Indiana politics to its core, where the Secretary of State is allegedly being investigated by the FBI for a money laundering operation and connection to Mexican or Guatemalan drug cartels. Shocking stuff, so stay tuned later in the show for that. But in the beginning segment, I am joined by the foremost firearms expert here on the station and an all-around good guy. Guy Relford joins the program. And Guy, I wanted to bring you on to recap the details and the shocking verdict coming from the Delphi decision this week. The jury ruling all 4 counts guilty against Richard Allen. I wanted to ask you, what might the jury have been smoking, and where can I get some? I did not expect this verdict.
Well, it wasn't the verdict that I predicted. I'll be the first to acknowledge that. I really thought the most likely outcome was a hung jury. I really thought there would be some jurors who were convinced that they needed to deliver a guilty verdict. I thought some jurors would hold out. And a big part of this, and Donnie Burgess, again, who we've just lost, he's gone on to greener pastures.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's not dead. He's just moved.
No, yeah, he's gone on to another job.
When you say somebody's lost,
yeah, we at WIBC have lost a colleague in the sense he's gone on to another job. But Donnie not only is a wonderful guy, but a tremendous reporter. I thought his fact-finding on this and his reporting back was just unbelievably good.
And in the short time that he's been a part of the news department, I mean, he cleaned up with some awards and some excellent news pieces. I mean, Donnie
really
was
in the newsroom for like 3 days, and he was winning, documentary awards left and right, and won several of them. So we're going to miss him.
Yeah, he really moved onwards and upwards from being the producer on this show at one point.
Well, and the producer on my show,
Indeed.
I'll have you know. And so anyway, we're going to miss Donnie. But Donnie did such a great job reporting facts back. And listen, we weren't in the courtroom, right? So we have to go by what the reporting is. Based on that, I really thought that there was enough reasonable doubt that I wouldn't say no way, but I thought it was unlikely we were going to see a guilty verdict based on what was coming out of the reporting. And listen, Donnie couldn't be in the courtroom every day, right? Because they had to pool their resources. Only a very limited number of reporters could go in, and then they were sharing their notes. So a lot of what we got, we reported on, I commented on, you commented on. I talked to a lot. I came in every day for like 2 weeks with Donnie here in the studio and me.
Great segments.
On the Hammer and Nigel show, we talked about what was going on. I did not expect a guilty verdict. I really did not.
I mean, you're talking about reasonable doubt. There's so much doubt. I felt like Meryl Streep's character in the movie Doubt.
I have doubts. I have such doubts.
So let's get into the level of doubt, because
Yes.
like the one connecting piece of tissue, or the prime connecting piece of tissue that the state had, which allegedly tied Richard Allen to the scene, was this unspent cartridge,
Yes.
not unspent bullet. Got to use the correct jargon there. Unspent cartridge at the scene, which they claim tool marks tied Richard Allen's gun to. However, when the state had possession of the firearm, they could not reproduce the tool marks under the same condition that they claimed Richard Allen was able to. Instead, they fired the cartridge, which is not the same condition.
You just phrased that perfectly, Ethan, and you explained it exactly right. What we're talking about is that there was an unfired cartridge, right? So you got the whole thing. It's and it's not just like a shell casing that's been fired out of a gun once the trigger's been pulled. And I guess the theory was, I still don't really understand what the theory was, but somehow this cartridge was in Richard Allen's gun, according to the prosecution, and somehow he must have racked the slide. He operated the action of the gun to eject that out of the gun, and it was found between the bodies of the girls. They then recovered that. They go back, and the Indiana State Police were able to match that to comparison cartridges ejected out of Richard Allen's gun. And when you hear that, and by the way, the tool mark identification science, and I have some background on this, it is a legitimate science. It is. That is, that the idea that a hard metal part of a tool, and here we're talking about the extractor, which is a little claw that pulls a cartridge out of the chamber of a gun, and an ejector, separate component of the slide of a gun that kicks it out of the ejection port. Those leave marks on a cartridge when it's manually ejected out of a gun, or when the gun's fired. And so that science is a legitimate science. But what got my attention, and it's exactly the way you just described it, is that when they went to compare, by simply racking the slide of the gun, as Richard Allen allegedly did at the scene, for some reason I still don't understand why you would do that. And by the way, the girls were not shot. So where the gun comes in, I do not understand. But by him manually ejecting the round out of the gun, they say, aha, we matched that to his gun. They did that by doing comparisons, but to your point, they could not replicate that by simply operating the action of the gun. They had to shoot the gun to create the markings on the gun that they then compared. And I'm going, hold on, what's the explanation for why he racked the slide and left these marks? You racked the slide and couldn't get any marks. You fire the gun, get marks, and then you can compare them and say that's 100% certain that cartridge came out of his gun. That sounds like apples and oranges to me. I thought that certainly created reasonable doubt.
So there's an apples to oranges comparison, and there's also an incredible lack of connective DNA evidence. That would be the one thing that could, incontrovertibly tie Richard Allen to the scene. But there was no fingerprints, there was no blood, there was no saliva, there was no semen that was recovered by the forensic investigators to tie Richard Allen to the scene. And that's an important detail, Guy, because early in the investigation process, he offered his cheek swab DNA to the police. This does not strike me as the behavior of a guilty man unless he's so overconfident that he didn't leave a speck of DNA evidence, which is incredible to assume.
And keep in mind that the police did not go to Richard Allen. Richard Allen went to the police initially and said, by the way, I was in the area. I saw some girls. I just wanted to come talk to you. So he went to police. They didn't come to him. But here's why. And I don't know if you ever heard it, Ethan. I did a little 5-minute mock closing argument as a defense attorney, which is what I do. I'm a defense attorney. And I did a little mock closing argument. I did not highlight in that 5 minutes I had on Hammer and Nigel, I did not focus on the DNA, the lack of DNA, the lack of fingerprints, the lack of physical evidence, because here's why. I didn't think that was a priority. And I didn't think that was that compelling as a defense attorney, because they didn't recover any DNA from anyone. In other words, it's not like they found DNA that just wasn't Richard Allen's. They didn't find any fingerprints. They didn't find any DNA. They didn't find anything from anyone. So whoever killed the girls simply didn't leave any DNA behind. Whoever killed the girls simply didn't leave any fingerprints behind, or the investigators from the various law enforcement agencies were simply unable, for whatever reason, to recover DNA or fingerprints from the scene. So somebody killed him. Whoever that was didn't leave any fingerprints or DNA behind. I don't think it's as compelling as some of the other arguments for reasonable doubt that they didn't find Richard Allen's DNA, because they didn't find anybody's DNA.
Very true. But here's one that stuck in my mind were the witnesses who saw Bridge Guy.
Yes.
Not only did their descriptions of Bridge Guy not match, neither of those descriptions matched the suspect, Richard Allen, which they claim was Bridge Guy, and Bridge Guy murdered the girls.
And that's something I actually ended my little mock closing argument with, and because I thought that's very compelling. And I made an additional point, which is, as a defense attorney, and this is what I said in my little mock closing, I said, you'll notice they had 4 different witnesses that came into this courtroom and they described Bridge Guy. What's a question that the prosecution didn't ask any of those 4 witnesses? They never asked any of those witnesses, do you see Bridge Guy here in the courtroom today? They didn't ask that question. Why do you suppose, Ethan, that they didn't ask that question? Because the prosecutors knew they wouldn't get, it's that guy right there, at the defendant's table. They knew they wouldn't get that answer. If they knew they wouldn't get that answer, that means that prosecutors had reasonable doubt as to whether Richard Allen was Bridge Guy. If they had no reasonable doubt, they would have asked the question. And I thought that was incredibly compelling. That's how I would have ended my closing argument.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Devin Legal Eagle on YouTube. He runs a legal channel. Anyway, he's a trial attorney, and that's one thing he routinely says: never ask questions that you do not already know the answer to
Precisely
in a trial
right.
setting.
That's my point. That is exactly right. You learn that day one of law school if you want to be a litigator. And why do you suppose they didn't ask? But listen, I got to make this point. Because it's an incredibly important point, which is our opinions on this are invalid. Okay, my opinion is invalid. Anybody else's opinion is invalid, and here's why: because our butts weren't sitting in that jury box for every day of that trial. We didn't look at the witnesses in the eye. We didn't see their demeanor. We didn't see the exhibits. We didn't judge, all the intangibles that we don't get third or fourth hand sitting here in the studio. Our opinions are invalid. The jury's opinion is more valid than ours simply because they were there every day. Does that mean juries get it right every single time? Absolutely not. And you and I were talking off air about some obvious examples.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is the same jury process that found O.J. innocent. So.
And you are precisely right. So that is not to say that they're right 100% of the time, but if we're not there in the jury box, looking at the witnesses in the eye and hearing their demeanor and watching the lawyers' cross-examinations and hearing the instructions of the judge, we can have an opinion, but our opinions are invalid compared to those people that sat there in that courtroom every day.
I think we're going to obviously be digging through the verdict more in the future after sentencing and after the gag order has been lifted from the case. I would be fascinated to hear from the jury members what the thought process was behind their conviction. I have a feeling that much of it rested on Richard Allen's confessions, I should say. But again, I feel like those confessions were made under duress after 13 months in solitary confinement, after being doped up on medication that experts testified would make you delirious, and after interacting with a psychologist that had a manifest conflict of interest because she was following the case and could have been feeding him details. So any confession that he offered after that point would be tarnished by her potential influence. There's just so much to this guy that makes me shake my head.
Or at least reasonable doubt. And,
Right.
and that's why you're so right. And that's why when I did my little mock closing argument, there's reasonable doubt about the Bridge Guy identification. There's certainly reasonable doubt about the cartridge being linked to his gun. And I think there's absolutely reasonable doubt about the confessions. But that's as a guy who's hearing it all second, third, and fourth hand, not someone sitting in the courtroom every day. That's why I always want to qualify that.
Well, I'm going to be fascinated to see, especially if the defense is able to successfully make an appeal. And we're running out of time here, but do you think they're going to be able to appeal the verdict and get a second examination, second shot, bite at the apple, as it were?
Yeah, I'm saying appeal is all about what the judge did, right? It's all about questions of law. That appeals almost never are successful based on the evidence. They're based on the legal decisions the judge made. And here, I think everyone agrees, the judge pretty much ruled at every opportunity in favor of the prosecution, not on the defense. That makes it a target-rich environment for an appellate lawyer to go in, and I do appellate work, to go in and say, this was wrong and it prejudiced the defense, therefore he deserves a new trial. I would be somewhat surprised. Again, I got the verdict wrong, so, hey, I'm 0 for 1. But I expect a new trial in this case based on all the different rulings from the judge, including not being able to offer as a defense the alternative theories of who committed the crime, like someone who was practicing the Odinism issue, and there are several others. So I think there's a very good likelihood you're going to see a successful appeal in this case.
I hope you're right, Guy, because I am not convinced in this case that justice was served. Absent an appeal, I hope that the jury got it right, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, brother.
Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC Saturday Night on the Circle. And Guy, thanks for coming in and offering your expertise.
Always a pleasure. We go way back.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to Saturday Night on the Circle.
Ah, the colors of fall. Orange.
Orange cone zone. Orange cones all over the place. This time on the north side.
Orange.
Orange barrels are up, restricting the far left lane and then switching to the right lane.
And orange.
Orange, you glad that I didn't say orange again? That's a little traffic humor.
When the colors of fall have you seen red, orange.
If I never see orange again.
Turn to Matt Baird Traffic. Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
You've got a Pepto predicament, moviegoer.
Hey, I can hear your stomach grumbling.
Sorry, I ate that entire tub of popcorn with extra butter.
You overdid it, and now your movie has turned into a blockbuster bellyache. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief, so you can focus on the action on the big screen instead of in your stomach. When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority, so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
My husband, Bob, has Parkinson's, and he needs more help now, and I need more support to help him. Thanks to Indiana Pathways for Aging, we're getting the support we need to help him right here at home, like with meal prep and basic personal care, and even respite support for me.
Pathways provides Hoosier Medicaid members, age 60 and over, support for care their way, so they can live life their way. To learn more, eligible members call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Miss M's Home and Garden and Sundown Gardens fall sale is still on. 30 to 50% off all trees and shrubs in stock. It's a great time to finish up your landscape for next year, and if you're ready to start interior holiday decorating, they have you covered. Stop in and shop those stunning displays filled with the best quality Christmas decor. Holiday open houses are coming the weekend before Thanksgiving. Miss M's in Bargersville on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road. Sundown Gardens at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
Hey, it's Rob Kendall. Join me November 21st at Hi-Fi, a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. I'll be one of the local celebrities creating a unique craft cocktail for you to enjoy. But here's the twist. You get to be the judge of who created the best cocktail. Not only will you have a great time tasting unique drinks, but you'll also be supporting the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Your ticket starting at just $20 helps us reach our goal of $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at HiFiIndy.com.
Heating and air conditioning can be the largest investment you make in your home. Here at Family, we pride ourselves in offering many flexible options.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Find the path to recovery that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
And the riot squad, they're restless. They need somewhere to go.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Desolation Road.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. Producer Jack on the board, and that was a great conversation with Guy Relford about the Delphi trial verdict. If you missed a moment of that, make sure to catch the podcast uploaded to SaturdayNightOnTheCircle.fireside.fm as well as WIBC.com. This segment, I wanted to discuss, of course, the lame duck administration that is Joe Biden, and this is part of the reason why people are fed up with the Democrats. They are doing everything to put the pedal to the metal and get as much money out the door and give it to their warmongering friends in Ukraine as possible before Donald Trump takes control of the White House. And if you don't believe me, you can get it straight from the horse's mouth. This is Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, saying just that.
Hey, Blinken. Did you say Abe Lincoln? No, I ain't say Abe Lincoln. I said, hey, Blinken. Hold the reins, man.
As we're working to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs to effectively defend itself, the United States continues to step up. We've obligated just recently and pushed out the door another $8 billion in security assistance for Ukraine. That was in September. Another almost $500 million just a few weeks ago. And President Biden is committed to making sure that every dollar we have at our disposal will be pushed out the door between now and January 20th.
Oh, that was horrible. You're horrible. You're an irredeemable monster.
Oh, what took you so long, idiot?
I mean, think of the gall. That's their priority. That is the priority of the Democrats, to get as many millions of dollars out the door, as many weapons out the door to help their warmongering buddies in Ukraine. Zelensky, who's done absolutely nothing but suck off the teat of the American taxpayer since the war has began. And yeah, Joe Biden invited that due to his own diplomatic ineptitude, but that doesn't obligate America to support this nonsense in perpetuity. That's why people are tired of the crap. People are beyond tired of the warped priorities of Democrats, be it at the national level in the State Department or even at the state level in the Department of Environmental Services over there in the state of New York, that murdered Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. Found out that they decapitated Peanut in order to test for rabies. But there was a twist this week, because we also discovered that more than 7 days before the raid had occurred, the State Department had already preemptively marked Peanut for death. They had advised the Department of Environmental Services, whatever, DOE over there in New York, to kill Peanut and Fred once they had obtained the animals. And now people were pissed about that. I was one of them, and now Mark Longo, of course, is trying to pass Peanut's law that would prevent the state from acting in such short order to murder people's innocent pets and give the owner an opportunity to apply for whatever licensure they need in order to save the animal's life. And he's learned a lesson. Never supporting Democrats again because of those warped priorities I was just talking about.
I want to pass this bill. I want to do whatever it takes to get as many people together to make sure Peanut's law passes. So if this does happen again, the animal has ample opportunity to be helped instead of just put down or euthanized or have its head cut off to check for rabies. I want her to pass the law. I want her to now acknowledge that there were mistakes done. You know, if you want to give me a slap on the wrist for not having the proper paperwork, so be it. But that doesn't sign a death warrant to my animals. We were set to have a funeral for Peanut and Fred tomorrow. We were hoping to get their bodies back. No word of anything. So you're sitting here feeling disgusted. You feel like you failed. You know, you can't even give your animals a proper burial because the state won't even acknowledge that you even exist. It's shameful. First of all, President Trump, you know, congratulations on winning the presidency. You know, if that happens, again, it's just something incredible. It's the voice of these two animals hoping to make change. And if he does reach out, you know, we want to continue with what we're doing here. The justice here is to make sure that this just doesn't happen again. And if he could step in and help, that's more power to this situation. But again, I've been telling everybody this entire time, I'm not a political person, but you could bet your stones that I will not be voting for one side of this, you know, this government ever again.
Oh.
But this whole place sucks. That's right, it sucks.
There it is. Lots of people were awakened by the murder of Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. Squirrel and the raccoon lives matter. Because, again, of the warped priority of Democrats who think that it's more important to take your pets from you than it is to enforce the border, than it is to make sure that your citizens are safe from assaults on the subway. How long did it take them to finally deploy the National Guard? People were getting assaulted. They went after Daniel Penny for defending people on the subway, but they killed Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. Again, warped priorities by these Democrats who still don't understand why they lost. Another victim of the warped priorities of Democrats was a local bakery, the Holterman Bakery in New York. Now, these people have been baking baked goods for something like 147 years. Producer Jack, I would love to have a baked good from a bakery that's been around for 147 years. Now, I'll bet they have a damn good sugar cookie. You know what I mean? If you've been cooking for 147 years, you must know what you're doing.
Yeah, I bet they do.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And so not only have they been doing that as a family for 147 years, you see, they had a boiler in their aged establishment. Many deteriorating old buildings that need salvaged and repaired in the state of New York. I think it's very important to protect our architectural heritage and conserve it for the future. But from time to time, repairs must be made, and a boiler went out. This prevented them from being able to do custom orders. They had enough to stock the store, but not enough to go fulfill a special order if you happen to call in, as did The View, the ladies at The View, the hogs at The View, the whales at The View, I should say. They wanted some of these baked goods for their friend, Whoopi Goldberg. However, she was denied because they were swapping out the boiler, so they couldn't do the special order. And then she bitched about it on The View later and went after this poor woman in the state of New York, like I said, the Holterman Bakery. And then now the local community has rallied around her for being slandered by this miserable cow.
My father always said, you do what you love. I'm telling you, this is my heart. And I thank you so much for everybody come out and support us with the Holterman family. It means the world to me. It really does. Thank you so much.
It's all good. It's all good. The goodness prevails. And just a little background for those who know, they had a boiler here. Again, it's been here 145 years. They had a boiler that was 60 or 70 years old. And the first week in November, guess what? It went on the fritz. They had to be replaced. And the reputation of Holterman's is impeccable, so rather than commit to something they couldn't guarantee, they say we can't do it. And the person who besmirched and defamed them took that as an insult to her. Well, get over it.
Sad. Very sad. Sad.
How sad and pathetic of a life must you lead in order to target this hardworking small business owner, her employees, because you feel slighted that you lost the election? Here's Whoopi going on a tirade, and, you know, she doesn't mention the bakery by name, but it was very easy to figure out who they were talking about because they had some of these baked goods on display on the table there with the logo right where you can see it. So they knew who they were talking about.
The place that made these refused to make them for me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What? Oh,
No. Let me explain. They said that their ovens had gone down, all kinds of stuff, but folks went and got them anyway, which is why I'm not telling you who made them. But can't be because I'm a woman, but perhaps they did not like my politics.
Yeah. It's very simple. You're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
I mean, so you already heard the Republican borough there on Staten Island. I believe the borough president, he went to bat for the small business owner. They had the receipts. The boiler was getting switched. Doesn't have anything to do with you, Whoopi. Doesn't have anything to do with your wacky leftist politics. Although you are putting on perfect display the insanity of why Democrats lost the 2024 election. Stay tuned to Saturday Night on The Circle. Sound Dump coming up next.
Hey, it's Rob Kendall. Join me November 21st at Hi-Fi, a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. I'll be one of the local celebrities creating a unique craft cocktail for you to enjoy. But here's the twist. You get to be the judge of who created the best cocktail. Not only will you have a great time tasting unique drinks, but you'll also be supporting the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Your ticket starting at just $20 helps us reach our goal of $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at hifiindy.com.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers' rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM, 866-549-TERM.
It's Hammer and Nigel for Window Nation. Experts say that heating costs are increasing up to 23% this winter. And if your windows aren't from Window Nation, your money is literally going out the window. They have some of the best insulated windows, so your heat stays inside. And right now, get these amazing windows at 50% off.
Plus, you could save even more money with 0% interest for 5 years. Hurry, this sale ends November 30th. Schedule your fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
Go with your gut. Your dog's immune system is based in the gut. A diet lacking in nutrients can cause itching, scratching, and a weak immune system. However, there is a solution. DINOVITE. Dinovite.
It took a grand total of 2 weeks. The dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out.
Try Dinovite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dinovite.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
Fox News, I'm Deborah Valentine. President Biden speaking with Chinese President Xi Jinping while in Peru for the Asia-Pacific Economic Summit. President Biden saying it's possible for the two nations to foster a positive relationship.
We haven't always agreed, but our conversations have always been candid and always been frank.
President Biden visits Sunday Amazon, becoming the first president to visit the Amazon rainforest as efforts to preserve the critical ecosystem are ongoing. Liberty Energy CEO Chris Wright named as President-elect Trump's pick for Energy Secretary. Here's Fox's Bill Malugin.
That is an important position that holds responsibility over the nation's thousands of nuclear weapons, amongst other responsibilities.
Also announced William Owen Sharf as assistant to the president and White House staff secretary under the new Trump administration. America's listening to Fox News.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
It's the holiday season, time to celebrate the moment, and that means a trip to Barrington Jewels and Clearwater Crossing. Give the perfect gift this year with new designs, breathtaking diamonds and gemstones, emeralds, rubies, sapphires, and more. Plus, you'll find all the top watch brands like Oris, Tutuma, Young Hans, and Citizens, in addition to a wide variety of pre-owned options. And right now, for every $1,000 you spend, you'll receive a $100 gift card. Don't wait, get to Barrington Jewels today. And remember, you haven't seen a diamond until you've seen a Barrington diamond.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Can you hear me?
So can your customers. Get your message heard. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
Need furnace or heat pump service and want to work with a local independent dealer you can trust, like Stevenson Heating and Cooling? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
Things that bother you never bother me. I feel happy and fine. Ha-ha! Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time.
For this edition of the Sound Dump, we'll share moments of reflection from Democrats still reeling from a staggering defeat, some wanting to learn lessons, and others refusing to move forward. You'll also hear who Joe Rogan thinks Biden truly supported on election night, as well as Trump's border czar pick promising a new order on the border. Don't miss a moment from this week's edition of the Sound Dump.
I'll take you for a ride. I'm a garbage truck.
It's the Saturday Night Sound Dump on 93 WIBC.
I take you to the dump. I show you the sights, you know you wanna ride. I'm a garbage truck.
Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. I am your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher, producer Jack on the board, beep, 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 pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. We begin with Bill Maher being the voice of reason to the left and trying in vain, I should say, to get them to be self-aware, and yet the extreme libs try to dig the hole deeper. Here's what he's talking about.
Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got you in the first place. Even the one concession I've heard a few people on the losing side offer, that liberals should stop saying the Trump voters are stupid, comes with a kind of unspoken parentheses. We know they are stupid, just don't say it. Yeah, I got bad news for you. They don't have a monopoly on stupid. You wear Queers for Palestine t-shirts. And masks 2 years after the pandemic ended. And you can't define woman, I mean person who menstruates. You're the teachers' union education party, and you've turned schools and colleges into a joke. You just lost a crazy contest to an actual crazy person.
He's out of line, but he's right. And part of the reason why liberals lost so badly is because they kept pushing the lie that if you voted for Donald Trump, that was you betraying democracy, that democracy was on the line, that we're literally living in 1933 Germany and seeing the rise of Adolf Hitler 2.0, and nothing could have been further from the truth, as evidenced now by the fact that they're meekly and sheepishly helping to arrange the transition of government. You wouldn't really do that if you believed you were transitioning to the next Adolf Hitler, would you? No, you would not. And people see through the disingenuous nature of their rhetoric, including, and this is a sports broadcaster, Stephen A. Smith. He was tearing into Oprah for peddling that same lie.
All these celebrities, Jennifer Lopez, Beyonce, Oprah.
If we don't show up tomorrow, it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again.
You're going to look an audience in the face and you're going to tell them that if you vote for Donald Trump, you may not ever be able to cast a vote again. Who believed that? Who believed that coming from Oprah? Truly, who believed that? This is the kind of stuff that alienates an electorate, that alienates a vote. or a voter. Because the freedom that you tell them they have, you try to confiscate morally by letting them know you ain't worth a damn unless you vote the way we say you should vote. Who's going to go for that in a general election with an economy rife with inflation?
When life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Make life take the lemons back. Get mad. I don't want your damn lemons. What am I supposed to do with these? Demand to see life's manager.
So the American electorate, they didn't take Democrats' crap. They shoved it right back to them and told them to stick it where the sun don't shine. It's plain and simple. It is really that simple. And that is why Donald Trump was the perfect vessel to communicate that message, something we'll get into a little bit later in the show. And Democrats better buckle up, because it is going to be a vast, drastic change of order compared to the last 4 years. And now Donald Trump, I think, is unleashed. He is picking cabinet picks that very closely align with his vision for making America great again over the next 4 years. And especially Tom Homan, he promises shock and awe tactics on restoring order to the southern border.
What's your overarching message to Americans who are eager for major border action on minute one, like Inauguration Day, 1 second in? How much will you be able to improve the life of everyday Americans?
I got 3 words for him. Shock and awe. Shock and awe.
I love it.
You're going to see us take this country back. And look, like I said before, it isn't just about the deportation operation. It isn't just about saving the children. It ain't about securing the border. What's the result? Less overdose deaths, less sex trafficking. For God's sakes, one of the worst crimes around. Less migrants dying. Under this administration, over 4,000 aliens had died crossing that border, an historic record.
And there was much rejoicing.
And he's absolutely right. An organized, orderly southern border also saved the lives of immigrants who legally wish to immigrate to America, as opposed to paying coyotes and making the dangerous trek under the illegal path that Joe Biden has opened the doors wide open for. And there is speculation now from Joe Rogan that Joe Biden, feeling betrayed by the Democrats who threw him under the bus and enacted a coup to elect his vice president to the nomination to run against Donald Trump. Now Joe Rogan is speculating that Joe Biden himself may have been a Trump voter.
One of my favorite things of this whole election cycle has been yesterday. When Biden and Trump sat down in the White House. Yeah. Biden voted for Trump. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I never saw that dude so happy in his life. He lost. His party lost. He was happy. When Obama had to shake hands with Trump and do the whole transition thing, Obama looked like, Jesus Christ. Look at Biden. Look at his smile, dude.
Trump's like, whatever.
Look at his smile, man. That's like when your kid gets married.
That dude looks like a hairless cat. Look at him.
It's great. First of all, what have they done to him? What have they done to his face?
Oh, my. And get ready, buckle up, because again, Donald Trump, he's on the revenge tour for 2024. He is not taking his next 4 years for granted. He's already pushing the pedal to the metal to enact the plan, the transition to make America great again. And even John Fetterman, he sees what he is doing with these, in some cases, controversial, especially with the Matt Gaetz nomination, picks for the cabinet. He's trolling the left. That's what it is. And that's what people elected him for. That's what Donald Trump does best. Troll the libs.
I mean, I would describe it as God tier level trolling to just trigger a full-on China syndrome to own the libs in perpetuity.
Correct. And they are raging and gnashing their teeth. And, just like we began the segment with, Bill Maher chiding them for not understanding why they lost and using extreme rhetoric. Stephen A. Smith screaming at Oprah for perpetuating the lie that Donald Trump is somehow a threat to democracy. And still, the Democrats cannot hear the message and take it to heart. Here's James Clyburn on Neil Cavuto's show saying the same tired lie that Donald Trump is Adolf Hitler 2.0. Stop it, guys.
But now they're seeing it.
But how are we seeing it? He's not president yet. I mean, are you envisioning another Hitler? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I said the 1930s in Germany.
Yes, you did.
And, of course, and we can go to Mussolini in Italy. These things...
So you don't think that's a little hyperbolic?
No, you may think so.
Okay.
I'll tell you what's hyperbolic is asking the Senate to approve all your nominees without any vetting.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Hyperbolic? I hardly knew herbolic. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. Stay tuned for the final segment of Hour 1, and we'll tell you more of Democrats' warped priorities, this time causing a major retailer, Costco, to offload more than 80,000 pounds of butter for a reason you won't believe. Stay tuned.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. For the last 97 years, we've offered Central Indiana the best mattresses at the best price with free delivery and interest-free financing. Now through Monday, save up to $800 on Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Nectar mattresses, plus queen mattresses start at $399. The Back to Sleep sale is going on now through Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Miss M's Home and Garden and Sundown Gardens fall sale is still on. 30 to 50% off all trees and shrubs in stock so you can finish up that landscaping for next year. If you're thinking about interior holiday decorating, they've got you covered. Stop and shop stunning displays filled with the best quality Christmas decor. Holiday open houses are coming too the weekend before Thanksgiving. That's Miss M's in Bargersville on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road, MissM'sHomeandGarden.com, and Sundown Gardens, 186th and Spring Mill Road in Westfield, SundownGardens.com.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Bill Clontz Heating and Cooling. There's big news for homeowners in Hendricks and surrounding counties. Here's Danny Polson to tell you what it is.
Bill Clontz and P&K Plumbing is a family-owned business, and we have joined together with the same goal of taking care of the customer like we would our family or ourselves.
All available under one roof by going to BillClontz.com, CLONTZ. Bill Clontz Heating and Cooling is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
This is Bill Clontz, and I approve this message.
Indiana Pathways for Aging helps Hoosier Medicaid members age 60 and over get support at no additional cost to live life their way.
Mom's Parkinson's is progressing, and Pathways provides in-home support so she can be with family every day.
Pathways coordinates Medicaid and Medicare services. I'm getting help with meals, personal care, and transportation.
One day, I might choose a nursing home, but today, I have options with Pathways.
To learn more, eligible members call 87 Pathway 4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is making its way back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December 19th with an all-new show, The Lost Christmas Eve Tour. For tickets and more information, head to WIBC.com.
Ho, 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 it's magic, you know, never believe it's not so.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Do you have a strong butter stance, Producer Jack?
Like, I insist on getting a nice, high-quality butter. None of this margarine crap, none of this seed oil crap where they blend the vegetable oils and they whip it to a butter substitute. No. I like the real stuff, and when I can afford it, I get the really good butter, like Kerrygold Irish butter with the high-fat content in it, higher fat than most other store butters, which makes it good for cooking. I mean, are you a butter snob like myself?
Yeah, I think my parents get the same type of butter. The Irish butter.
The Irish butter? Yeah. Kerrygold? Yeah. Oh, man, if they're getting the Kerrygold, they're getting some primo butter.
Yeah.
Those people have good taste.
And I'm in agreement with you. I hate margarine and all that.
Yeah, no, the taste is not the same. I don't care, and I'll take the calories because it's all about the experience. It's all about the experience of the food. But I'm bringing up this butter, you see, Producer Jack, because Costco recently ran afoul of federal regulations per the FDA. What may you be asking? Did they fornicate the butter in some way? Did they adulterate it with a foreign substance of some kind? Did they perforate it with chemicals? And no, they did not, sir. They mislabeled the butter. I can hear you saying, Producer Jack, how could they possibly mislabel the butter? Well, you see, the FDA requires all food manufacturers in the United States to label allergenic materials in their food. And you see Costco and their Kirkland Signature butter, they did not disclose that the butter, it's made with milk.
Oh.
I hear you snickering. All butter is made with milk. And you would be right, Producer Jack. You would be absolutely right. And due to this federal regulation that Costco ran afoul of, they're having to dispose of 80,000 pounds of butter. Look, guys, here's a tip. You can dispose of all the high-quality butter you want to. At my house, I use it for steaks, I use it for baking, I use it for cooking, and it sounds like Producer Jack's parents are into some high-quality butter, too. So if you want to dispose of any of this butter that's made with milk, give it to us, right?
Yeah, I mean, I remember making, butter in elementary school one time, and it was literally with milk.
Yes, that's the only thing that real butter is made with.
Yeah,
but they did not disclose it over on their packaging, and so they ran afoul of the FDA. Absolutely ridiculous, and another example of why people have lost their patience with Democrats, why their priorities are completely warped, and why they lost in the 2024 election. Stay tuned to Hour 2 of Saturday Night on The Circle. We're starting out strong with Abdul Shabazz sharing the latest scandal to erupt in the General Assembly statewide. Stay tuned for details up next.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Call 800-631-9123. 800-631-9123. That's 800-631-9123.
My husband, Bob, has Parkinson's, and he needs more help now, and I need more support to help him. Thanks to Indiana Pathways for Aging, we're getting the support we need to help him right here at home, like with meal prep and basic personal care, and even respite support for me.
Pathways provides Hoosier Medicaid members, age 60 and over, support for care their way, so they can live life their way. To learn more, eligible members call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Miss M's Home and Garden and Sundown Gardens fall sale is still on. 30 to 50% off all trees and shrubs in stock. It's a great time to finish up your landscape for next year, and if you're ready to start interior holiday decorating, they have you covered. Stop in and shop those stunning displays filled with the best quality Christmas decor. Holiday open houses are coming the weekend before Thanksgiving. Miss M's in Bargersville on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road. Sundown Gardens at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield.
You've got a Pepto predicament, moviegoer.
Hey, I can hear your stomach grumbling.
Sorry, I ate that entire tub of popcorn with extra butter.
You overdid it, and now your movie has turned into a blockbuster bellyache. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea,
Pepto Chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief, so you can focus on the action on the big screen instead of in your stomach. When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Shop Dell Technologies Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Pat Sullivan here, and the holidays are right around the corner, which means all the food prep in your home and then scraps and leftovers thrown right down the garbage disposal. Don't let a clogged kitchen sink ruin your holiday spirit. Consider upgrading your garbage disposal before it's too late. Call my friends at Hope Plumbing today for a premium garbage disposal and get $100 off. Leave the dirty work to Hope Plumbing. Visit hopeplumbing.com for all their holiday specials today.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News, 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
Two more picks from President-elect Trump. I'm Deborah Valentine, Fox News. Two additional names announced for roles in the second Trump administration. Fox's Bill Malugin reports from West Palm Beach, Florida.
We got the announcement out of Mar-a-Lago that Donald Trump is selecting Chris Wright to be his energy secretary. That is an important position that holds responsibility over the nation's thousands of nuclear weapons, amongst other responsibilities. So there you have it, Chris Wright. Another announcement out of Mar-a-Lago, President-elect Trump announcing that one of his attorneys, Will Scharf, will serve as White House staff secretary. That's an important position that holds a lot of power. It's essentially a gatekeeper for a bunch of the documents that'll come through the White House, including executive orders. So these announcements, as we get later into the day, are starting to pump out of Mar-a-Lago.
President-elect Trump has not yet named his choice for Treasury Secretary. President Biden in Peru for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, the president meeting with his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping. President Biden saying conversations between the two leaders are crucial for the progress of both nations.
These conversations prevent miscalculations, and they ensure the competition between our two countries will not veer into conflict.
The trip to South America will likely mark the last meeting President Biden shares with global leaders as he prepares to end his term in the White House. Israeli troops have made their deepest incursion into Lebanon since they invaded 6 weeks ago. They blew up a shrine in a village about an hour outside of Beirut. This comes as Hezbollah considers a draft proposal presented by the U.S. earlier this week on ending the war. Meanwhile, families of the 101 hostages still being held in Gaza are hoping that political changes here in the U.S. and in Israel will reignite the momentum to bring their loved ones home. America's listening to Fox News.
Will Kane had you covered this election.
Brett Baer joins us now. Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy joining us on The Will Kane Show. Tommy Lahren joins us now.
It's the new must-listen podcast in America.
I think Sanity, I'm hoping, is going to win today.
What they did was the biggest miscarriage of democracy, I think, in my lifetime.
I see a victory for Donald Trump. I see a victory for America.
The Will Kane Show. Listen and watch now at WillKaneShow.com. We're bringing forecasting grit to the gridiron. Fox Weather is storming the field with the risk of weather impact on the hottest NFL matchups all season long, delivering unmatched insight from the leader in weather news and how the forecast could affect your favorite players. We are taking you right into the end zone with Fox Weather's exclusive weather forecasting technology and the risk of weather impact for every single game of the regular season. Listen to Storming the Field every Friday on FoxNewsPodcasts.com. 93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He's going to stay. I'm Sasha Nixon. Here's what's trending this hour. Indiana University and its head football coach, Curt Cignetti, have agreed to a contract extension that will keep Cignetti in Bloomington through November of 2032, John Herrick reports.
It gives him an average annual compensation of $8 million a year. Cignetti says his wife and family love being in Bloomington, and he looks forward to continue leading the football program. The Hoosiers' 10-0 start this fall is the best in school history, and they're also ranked 5th in the country. Reporting in Bloomington, John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Volunteers with IBEW Local 481 decorated Monument Circle Saturday in anticipation of the Circle of Light celebration. Executive Board Committee member Kendrick Carpenter says,
We do this to give back to the Indianapolis community. It's something that we take pride in our local. It's our staple in the community that we feel honored to do.
This year's Circle of Lights event is scheduled to start at 6 p.m. on Friday, November 29th. And more than 200 vendors, food, and live glockenspiel are just some of the things you can expect if you go to Ferdinand's Christkindlmarkt this weekend. Diane Hopignon says this is a special event.
There's a lot of things that remind you of Germany and make one feel as though you've traveled to Germany. Just come in and partake and add a little joy to your life.
She says there are 6 market locations throughout Ferdinand. On the level, on the go, and on WYBC.com. Now here's the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Tonight, mostly cloudy, low temperatures in the lower 40s, and for Sunday, temperatures slightly warmer, mostly cloudy, highs in the lower 60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Shh. The silence you just heard? You could have used that space to reach your customers. Get your message in front of your customers. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your Bohemian codger, Ethan Hatcher. Podcasts uploaded to WIBC.com and SaturdayNightOnTheCircle.fireside.fm. Plus, we're streaming live on the YouTube machine every Saturday night, 7 to 9. This week, potentially one of the biggest stories to hit Indiana government in decades came out on IndyPolitics.org announcing an FBI investigation into Secretary of State Diego Morales. This investigation is allegedly surrounding his ties to a local restaurant and potential money laundering scheme for Guatemalan drug cartels. If true, this would be an earth-shattering turn of events. In this fantastic tale, so dramatic it can scarcely be fathomed, one man has broken the story. The pugnacious political pugilist Abdul Hakim Shabazz joins us via the WIBC hotline from the Fortress of Solitude. How are you, my friend?
Doing fine. And by the way, I'm not under any sort of witness protection program. I always go back home to the Fortress of Solitude in Springfield after each election just to decompress and wind down. I turned my phone off, but for you, my friend, I turned my phone on. So congratulations, you're special.
I appreciate that because this is a really shocking story. When I first saw the headline, I couldn't believe. The nature of it is so fantastical. The Secretary of State allegedly having ties to a money laundering operation with Guatemalan or potentially Mexican drug cartels. Set the stage, my friend. How did this all come to unfold? How did the FBI begin to even make the connection between this restaurant and the Secretary of State?
Well, the thing is, I got the news tip actually the Wednesday after the election. It was Wednesday night. I was kind of tired, just sort of tired of politics. So there I am, just sitting at my computer, having my herbal tea and watching old reruns of The Big Bang Theory. 'Cause that's what I do when I decompress. Then I get a text message like, "Oh, blank, what the hell is this?" And then I look at my phone like, "Oh, blank, what the hell is this?" So I called my source, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" It's like, "Nope." And so we just kind of walked through all the details of everything, and then when I sent the story back to him, just running all my legal traps, because this is a big deal, and what you don't want to do is defame somebody. And trust me, I know a thing or two about defamation. So, and by the way, I'm starting to get a specialty of law in defamation, by the way. And so I read it by my source, like, yep, that's accurate. And so we ran it. And in a nutshell, and I don't want to mention the business's name because the business is everyone is innocent until proven guilty, obviously.
Right. This is all alleged right now.
Yeah, all alleged. And the thing was that this business in Indianapolis on the Near East side of town was apparently had connections to, or the FBI was investigating regarding money laundering. And sort of the RICO statute, that's where Diego Morales' name sort of popped up because the theory is, and once again, I ran this by my source. I said, "Joel, you're correct," is that Diego may have been sort of a go-between between the business and the drug cartels down in Latin America. And we're not actually sure what he was took money and sort of sent it either wired or Western Union. That we're not sure yet. But that sort of was the premise of all this. And it looks like the wife of the business was fine, but it may have been the husband of the business that the FBI was sort of focusing on.
So I mean, where's the connection here? How does the FBI establish a connection between this Near East Side, again, unnamed restaurant and then the Secretary of State? Because it seems, again, so fantastical to make the assertion that then there's this money laundering operation that connects him to drug cartels in Latin America. Like, where's the connecting pieces?
Let's put it this way. There were several informants, and we'll just leave it at that.
Okay, because this is all still like in the early stages, and I saw you announce like we're expecting the investigation announcement. What is it after Thanksgiving this month? Yeah,
but here's the thing, though. I remind people that after Thanksgiving does not mean the 29th, that Friday. that is not what it means. I mean, sometime after Thanksgiving, it could be the 29th, could be that those first couple of weeks in December. But my sources tell me I would not be surprised to see something between Thanksgiving and Christmas of this year.
So, a Thanksgiving, Christmas window.
Yeah.
What do you expect to happen at this point? Like, what is the ramifications if an investigation of this nature moves forward against the Secretary of State? Because correct me if I'm wrong, like, I'm not sure what the basis of comparison would be. I've never heard of something like this happening in the state of Indiana before. So how would we move forward?
Obviously, if there are any sort of indictments would be announced, just like they were with Charlie White 10-something odd years ago. However, an elected official does not have to step down if they're indicted. They would have to step down if they're convicted of a felony, i.e. Denise Paul Hatch, a Center Township constable. So from that perspective, Diego, and by the way, Diego is innocent until proven guilty. He's entitled to due process. I make this abundantly clear. These are simply allegations right now, but he hasn't had his day in court yet. Now, we did offer Diego an opportunity to come and tell his story. He hasn't gotten back with us on that yet. So that's out there. And number two, the other thing to keep in mind, which I thought was funny, when Diego's top aide in Diego's office subscribed to the cheat sheet the day the story broke. So imagine that. Okay, so there we are. So there we are with that too. But no, there had to be an indictment, a trial, the whole 9 yards, and then possibly if Diego is found guilty of a felony, he would have to step down because you cannot be in a statewide office holder if you're convicted of a felony. That's just the rule.
So far, it's been radio silence regarding this matter from the Secretary of State's office, and it's curious that one of his staff members has subscribed to the cheat sheet, so he's aware, if not from the federal government already, asking questions around the office, then certainly from this story. And you say he hasn't responded to any inquiry from you.
Right, but no, he's aware of it. If he wasn't before, he is now. And by the way, it's also not just that; it's his new vehicle that he bought. It is also allegations that he's been requesting from employees who got bonuses, campaign contributions from their bonuses, using state email, state resources. And here's the other thing: I want to say Thursday was the state budget hearings. The initial budget hearings where the universities. State officials come out and they present their budget requests to the state budget officials. And then they'll get the economic forecast, blah blah blah. But I want to say almost every statewide elected official actually showed up except one, and you can probably guess who that statewide elected official was.
So, I mean, if true, this is like a lasagna of corruption because it just comes in layers. And I'm shocked that it's all come to light at this stage and not like this is a George Santos level of faux pas. How has no one ever looked into the background of Diego Morales and established these connections before this point, before he became the elected Secretary of State? I mean, this is almost a fairy tale scenario, if you excuse the phrasing.
Well, here's something to think about. When Diego became Secretary of State in 2022, the big issue was, sort of alleged sexual harassment, inappropriate sexual touching, contact, and all that other stuff. What I found out was, though, that as a statewide elected official, you are entitled to get intelligence briefings, because we live in a post-9/11 world. And so if there's something going on, you should know about it. Well, to get those briefings, guess what? You got to fill out paperwork for. Guess what? A background check. Ta-da! And guess which statewide elected official did not fill out the paperwork for the background check.
Okay, so more dots to connect, as it were. Fascinating.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit more about how you've got your bases covered, because obviously an accusation of this severity, might raise the hairs on the back of your neck as far as retaliation goes, especially from a statewide official. But you're pretty confident that that's not going to happen. So why don't you explain why that is?
Right. Well, to file a lawsuit for defamation, to say that, number one, if you're regular people, it's got to show that it wasn't true and the folks knew it wasn't true and ran the story anyway. In a nutshell, it's sort of a malice standard. With an elected official, a public figure, it's an actual malice standard. And you have to show not only was the story not true, the individual who wrote the story knew it wasn't true, and didn't do their research and published anyway with sort of reckless regard for its truth or not. However, there are defenses. Number one, that I did do my homework, which I did. Number two, I did run it through my sources traps, which I did. And number three, it wasn't a matter of public importance, which guess what? It is, because It's, once again, possible corruption. Now, here's this. If Diego were to sue me, saying that, the defamation standard didn't work, okay, fine, we had to go through what's called discovery. And when going through discovery, anything and everything is fair game and deposition stuff. So you can do it, yeah, fine, but do you really want all this dirt to start coming out on you? And not just that, but also other rumors that have been out there forever. So sometimes it's better just to take the hit and just leave it alone, and hopefully you can weather the storm. Now, whether Diego can weather the storm, that remains to be seen. But life is going to be very interesting, let's put it that way.
Well, no, and it sounds like we'll get our next major update coming between the Thanksgiving Christmas window, and I look forward to that. But of course, I bring up the defamation issue to set the stage for you to take a bit of a victory lap. Obviously, you're very familiar with this process at this point, and I understand a Marion County judge gave you a very hefty, favorable ruling against the malcontented, dishonest Gabe Whitley. Tell us a little bit about that, my friend.
Well, actually, I want to make one correction. You forgot to include the word indicted Gabe Whitley, too, so don't forget that.
Malcontented and indicted, I should say.
Yes. Early last year, Gabe Whitley, because he didn't like what I was writing about whomever, Diego Morales said, hey, we should listen to a child rapist and someone who lied 15 times in front of a grand jury regarding the Marion County Fair Board. None of that was true, and so I sued him for defamation. And actually, I went on a summary judgment motion earlier this year, and then I had a request for damages, and the judge awarded me $100,000 in actual damages and $300,000 in punitive damages. And so that happened, I want to say like Wednesday, Thursday. Well, guess what? The body hadn't even been to the ground yet. And so what does the indicted bastard do? He doubles down on it and says if it was a pedophile, child rapist, blah, blah, blah. So I just filed, actually, before we did our interview this afternoon, as we record this conversation, I just filed a motion to increase those award damages and also increase the punitive damages, and also to admonish the defendant for basically, doubling down on stuff that he knows for a fact is not true, and had to pay damages. I guess Gabe really wants to be his version of Alex Jones. So, well, he messed around and found out what Alex Jones went through. He's probably going to find out again.
Yeah, it sounds like this guy's a glutton for punishment, and this is a hard-won victory for you. It's been a long time coming, and I definitely want to applaud the courts for stomping down such a little jerk.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. Does Gabe have money? Probably not. My running joke is Stevie Wonder will probably see a dime before I do, but we're still going to prove our point nonetheless.
Sometimes it's about the moral victory.
Yeah,
and I think this time
I actually did hire a friend of mine. Her law firm does collections, so I can start having his wages garnished for the rest of his natural life. So.
Every hourly check from the McDonald's, he will be giving a few cents to you. I like that scenario.
Act is more the Circle K, but you're pretty close.
Close enough. All right, thank you, my friend.
Hey, thank you. Always a pleasure, sir.
Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Night on the Circle 93 WIBC. Stay tuned for more.
Republicans will retain control of the House after flipping the White House and Senate.
93 WIBC.
Next week, it's the G20 summit in Brazil.
Hear the news.
The NFL Scouting Combine is staying in Indianapolis through 2026, 39th consecutive year in Indianapolis.
Another news update is minutes away.
The Indiana Pacers.
The Pacers, disastrous fourth quarter, and they lose it 94-90.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation, like your neighbor Brett.
We did Galaxy for the sidewalks and also the porch. The porch had a few pits. Galaxy said that was no problem.
Home or business, Galaxy Concrete Coatings got you covered.
Obviously with the front sidewalk and step, so we didn't worry about any kind of slipping. You're concerned about that after rain. And then when it did dry, it didn't spot, it didn't stain. It was just like it had been done yesterday.
Lots of styles to choose from. 4 times stronger than epoxy and a 15-year warranty.
It's one thing that my wife commented on was how easy the Galaxy coating swept versus just the bare concrete.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com now. That's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. And remember to like us on Facebook. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. We're out of this world.
We moved here recently. I didn't even think twice about calling anyone else but Galaxy to come do this house.
It's the holiday season, time to celebrate the moment, and that means a trip to Barrington Jewels and Clearwater Crossing. Give the perfect gift this year with new designs, breathtaking diamonds and gemstones, emeralds, rubies, sapphires, and more. Plus, you'll find all the top watch brands like Oris, Tutama, Young Hans, and Citizens, in addition to a wide variety of pre-owned options. And right now, for every $1,000 you spend, you'll receive a $100 gift card. Don't wait, get to Barrington Jewels today. And remember, you haven't seen a diamond until you've seen a Barrington diamond.
Hey, it's Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, it's our 50% off sale. Save 50% off all Smith Brothers, Lazy Boy, Bassett, plus we pay your sales tax, and we even give you more discounts for cash. That's every sofa, recliner, sectional, lift chair, you name it, it's on sale. Now through Monday, only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus with free delivery.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hey guys, it's Rob Kendall. Give back November 21st at Hi-Fi. Get tickets to a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. A night of community, Jack Daniels cocktails, and fighting food insecurity. Sample signature cocktails crafted by celebrity bartenders, all working to help raise $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving through the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Tickets start at $20, with all proceeds benefiting Moselle Sanders Foundation's mission to support families in need. Get tickets at hifiindy.com.
This time next week, I'll be sick in bed with West Nile virus.
thanks to a mosquito bite right in front of my house.
In 8 minutes, my daughter will be in an ambulance, having an asthma attack triggered by cockroaches.
I'm going to be bitten by a tick today. I won't even know it until Lyme disease turns my life upside down.
Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the CDC.
Are these uncertain times making you nervous? Give Family Heating and Air a call at 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
The Indianapolis Public Library. More than just books. Visit your local branch today.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIPC.
As we're entering week 2 of liberal outrage over the Donald Trump election, many still seem to be missing the point of why they lost and have really put on display a lot of the reasons, including the shocking racism behind a lot of their conclusions. This was a conversation that I was having off the air with executive producer Matt Hiblin, and we were discussing the results of the 2024 election and came to the conclusion one of the issues is that Democrats, they don't see people as people. They don't see, individuals as themselves. They read people in terms of demographic groups, in terms of identity politics. That is to say, if you have 2 Spanish gentlemen, named Miguel, one of them is affluent resident of Fishers in a multi-bedroom, single-family home. He has a 6-figure income, 3 children, married, and has been for many years, devoutly religious. And then there's another Spanish gentleman named Miguel who lives on the far east side of Indianapolis in an impoverished neighborhood, divorced, no children, not religious, possibly unemployed at the moment. And they see both of those Miguels and they say, aha, this is the same person. Because of their shared Spanish background, they must think the same. When nothing could be further from the truth, when there's, very little connective tissue between these 2 very different individuals, but under the lens of identity politics, they only see their demographic. Ah, this is a Mexican. Ah, this is, a Latinx or what have you. And they really make some shockingly racist conclusions about the Spanish community. Now, because Donald Trump has won, they say, well, get ready, Bao, because you're going to in for a problem. What about your landscapers? What about your janitors? What about your cabbage pickers? Because I guess that's all they think all Latin people are, which is really gross when you think about it. But that's how liberals think. And this is what they had to say.
So your lawn maintenance is about to skyrocket because 90% of workers in the lawn maintenance industry, they come from Mexico. And whether they're here legally or not, Stephen Miller, who Trump's going to put in charge of his mass deportation project, is going to deport them. They're also going to deport people who are naturalized citizens. These are jobs that Americans will not do, okay? American families are not letting their young adults work in the lawn maintenance industry. These companies may be owned by Americans, but their employees are from Mexico. So not only will it be harder to find a company, the prices are going to double and triple. And this is going to affect a lot of other industries. It's going to affect our food supply and the housing industry, because I don't know if you know this, but there's not a lot of Americans lining up to haul cement in and out of buildings. So good luck.
Oh, well, I've discussed this story a couple of times now, producer Jack, and I'm living proof that that's not true for starters, because I have personally hauled cement in and out of buildings. I have hauled cement in and out of building in the last 2 weeks. I have also done lawn work. One of my best friends was in a landscaping business that was owned and operated by a white man and worked with several other white employees. Not that that should matter unless you're a liberal and think that everybody who works for lawn care is Hispanic or from Latin descent. Isn't that incredibly racist, Producer Jack? I mean, and they say it out loud so cavalierly without realizing exactly what the implications are for what they just said.
Yeah, I don't like her comments were like all out of whack.
Yes. Because she thinks Mexicans are cabbage pickers, janitors, and lawn care providers, and that's racist.
Yeah.
But that's the way liberals think. And here was another liberal. This was before the election. This was Ana Kasparian, and we had played this sound clip on another show. And it kind of reminded me post-election of this, because here was Ana Kasparian, part of the Young Turks on YouTube, far left podcasting group, kind of connecting the dots behind why people favor Donald Trump and what the secret sauce is to his popularity.
So your lawn maintenance.
Oops. Here it is.
Donald Trump is the middle finger manifested in human form. And I think that the individuals who support him, they might support him for other reasons as well, but I do think that one of the dominant reasons is that it's giving a middle finger to our political establishment, to our institutions. And a lot of Americans feel like those institutions and the political establishment has let them down, whether we're talking about the Democratic establishment or the Republican establishment.
Correct. So that's the secret sauce. And that's something I think we've said on this show before, is that Donald Trump is the physical manifestation of the middle finger and all the nastiness that digit implies. That's why Donald Trump is able to get away with some of the things that would sink another campaign at a different time. It's because people aren't concerned with trying to pretty things up. They want to cut through the noise and be as direct and curt as possible. And that's the message that Donald Trump is sending. They are putting up the middle finger to the kind of identity politics that we heard relayed in the first clip. And now we're moving on to the outrage. And another reason why liberals lost is the absolute contempt and disgust that they have for the average person, the average Joe. Here is a liberal woman in the state of New York absolutely unloading on a gas station cashier because she thinks, and he might not even be, is the fun thing, she thinks he's a Trump voter, and on that basis just begins calling him names, getting nasty, saying that he's stupid, and that's the contempt that they have for you.
This whole country is mentally ill. This whole country is mentally ill. It's going to be better than ever. Yeah, because you're a racist piece of and you can't wait. You know what? When your Social Security is gone, you ugly piece of you'll be the last one laughing, not the rest of us. Oh my God, I know you can barely read, and you probably got a 6th grade level of education, you piece of Ooh, but I can tell the only joke around here is you, and look in the mirror.
This is exactly why Trump got elected, for crazy people like you.
I'm not crazy, okay? All right? I'm worried about the women in this country. I know you can't care because you're going to go back and drink your beers in your truck and not give a shit about anybody but yourself. But the rest of us have to deal with your dumb shit that you did to the rest of this country.
Maybe try low-fat milk.
You're lucky I don't swing you in your face, you ugly piece of shit.
How to talk to a feminist. Let's begin.
So the history of feminism.
Be quiet.
Actually...
Shut up. Shut up.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you ought to try some low-fat milk. That is a Producer Jack. That is a spot-on comeback. That is almost like that scene in Napoleon Dynamite where he's like, "I see you're drinking the 1% milk. You know, you could be drinking 2% milk if you wanted to, because you're not that fat."
Yeah. But yeah, she sounded mad about that.
Yes, she was very upset, and obviously she leads a very upset life to carry a chip on her shoulder and then just start unloading on strangers because your candidate lost the election. Like, I was fully prepared for Donald Trump to be defeated narrowly on election day, and I wasn't going to throw a temper tantrum. You know, life would go on, and life will go on for these liberals. Now, how easy they want to make it, I guess, is entirely up to them. They can drag it out all 4 years if they want to, but it's going to be a lot better for everybody if you just get used to it, accept the defeat, and move on. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. Coming up next, we're going to talk about a marketing faux pas for the movie Wicked. Are you familiar with this, producer Jack? It's based off the musical that got released on Broadway a few years ago, starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, I believe it is.
I'm familiar with Wicked, yeah.
Okay, well, they made, of course, the movie, and then now they're trying to market dolls or, figurines for little boys and girls to buy and help support the movie. But there was a disastrous faux pas on these dolls, and we'll give you details about that coming up next. So stay tuned to Saturday Night on the Circle.
Ah, the colors of fall. Orange.
Orange cone zone. Orange cones all over the place. This time on the north side.
Orange.
Orange barrels are up, restricting the far left lane and then switching to the right lane.
And orange.
Orange, you glad that I didn't say orange again? That's a little traffic humor.
When the colors of fall have you seen red, orange.
If I never see orange again.
Turn to Matt Baird Traffic. Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
Hey guys, it's Rob Kendall. Give back November 21st at Hi-Fi. Get tickets to a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. A night of community, Jack Daniels cocktails, and fighting food insecurity. Sample signature cocktails crafted by celebrity bartenders, all working to help raise $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving through the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Tickets start at $20, with all proceeds benefiting Moselle Sanders Foundation's mission to support families in need. Get tickets at hifiindy.com.
I've been a loyal Window Nation customer for a number of years now, been saving money on my energy bills. In fact, experts are saying heating costs are going to increase up to 23% this winter, and that's why you need Window Nation windows, which, by the way, are 50% off.
I'm a Window Nation customer, and with this deal, you can be a Window Nation customer. 0% interest for 5 years, but you got to hustle. This deal ends November 30th. 866-90-NATION. Call today or go to windownation.com.
The holidays are a magical time to get engaged. At Shane Company, we're here to help you create your dream engagement ring in just 3 easy steps. Choose a setting that speaks to your style. Compare diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. Then personalize it with a decorative crown and special engraving. Or choose a perfectly preset ring that's ready to go. At Shane Company, you'll find everyday competitive prices, a no-pressure environment, and an unmatched free lifetime warranty. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
When it's time to renovate, it's time to call Booher. B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com, because it's about the process. It's about dealing with professionals who are with you every step of the way, communicating how things work. The best craftsmen and professionals who have been doing kitchens and bathrooms in Indianapolis for 2 decades. Talk to Booher Remodeling today about how they work and why it will work for you and your new kitchen. Call 317-852-5546, 852-5546, or online at Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
Fox News, I'm Roger Stern. Today, in his final presidential meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping, President Biden praised their relationship for always being frank with one another.
These conversations prevent miscalculations, and they ensure the competition between our two countries will not veer into conflict.
Biden and Xi are together at a conference in Peru. President-elect Trump has nominated his energy secretary, fracking company CEO Chris Wright. Meanwhile, Trump loyalists are defending the president-elect's more controversial cabinet nominees, including Attorney General pick Matt Gaetz. Gaetz, House Republican Whip Tom Emmer.
Donald J. Trump has tapped these people, and they are going to shake up Washington, D.C. It will not be business as usual.
Emmer on Fox's Cavuto Live. America's listening to Fox News.
We know that around the holidays, things don't always go as planned. That's why Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles, the best warranty around. So make memories this season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Shop drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations. Every Hubler Q certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Choose from over 2,000 Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes and models. Certified luxury, even the hard-to-find ones. No matter where your plans take you, spread cheer all season long, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Happy holidays, Indiana. Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Franciscan Health has been your hometown leader in heart care for decades. Recognized in 2024 by Healthgrades as the #1 hospital in Indiana for cardiology, and by CareChex as #1 in Indiana for major cardiac surgery and interventional coronary care, we're proud to keep the hearts of our community beating strong. Franciscan Health, where our greatest reward has always been serving you. Take a heart risk assessment or schedule an appointment at franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher. Thanks for listening to the program. Find the podcast at WIBC.com and Saturday Night on the Circle.fireside.fm. Last segment, I was telling producer Jack about a faux pas from the marketing department at Mattel as they were manufacturing these dolls for the Wicked movie. Of course, they are wanting to direct people to the website for the Wicked movie. And they were supposed to send them to wickedmovie.com, but they sent them somewhere else instead, as Indianapolis man found out.
Toy maker Mattel is apologizing for a wicked mistake. A web link on the packaging for 2 dolls promoting the new movie Wicked was actually a link to a porn site. It was apparently a typo that left out some letters from the movie's website. Mattel said, "We deeply regret this unfortunate error. Parents are advised that this misprinted, incorrect website is not appropriate for children. Consumers are advised to discard the product's packaging or obscure the link."
I guess I just picked a whole bouquet of oopsie daisies.
That's quite a mistake to make. They should have sent them to wickedmovie.com, but instead they sent them to wicked.com, and that's a porn site.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. Before the show, I was telling another friend of mine about the same story. And, of course, I'm getting to the punchline. Oh, instead of sending them to wickedmovie.com, they just sent them to wicked.com. And guess what? Before I could finish the sentence, he interjects, "Oh, yeah, that's porn site." They're very well known. They've gotten many awards, I guess, for their pornographic exploits. They're a production company, a whole production company, and if you are familiar with the pornography, then you are likely to have run across some of their fine offerings, I suppose. This is like I was with you. This is news to me.
Yeah, I've never heard of Wicked, so
right. I feign ignorance here. Cross my heart and hope to die. Never heard of them before this point, but certainly familiar with them now, as are many people. And I would recommend, by the way, producer Jack, go to your Walmart or wherever they're selling these tchotchkes and see if you can pick up some misprint Wicked dolls, because this is going to be a collector's item. Just on the basis of the fact alone that they sent them to the wrong website, that's going to boost up the value a little bit for these misprints, especially if not everybody gets their hands on them. If they're recalled or destroyed, the fewer there are, the more valuable they would be. So as a speculative venture, maybe go out and get your hands on them.
All right, I'll consider it.
On the other hand, though, maybe you don't want to be going out and supporting the Wicked movie. I've had my apprehensions about this because everything in Hollywood is so woke. Everything's got to have the message front and center, poisoning and writhing its tendrils into everything. And it looks like the Wicked movie is going to be just the same. And now they're besmirching the legacy of Frank L. Baum's work.
But also the boys do, Bo and Yang. Do we think that maybe Fiyero likes the attention from both? I don't know.
Of course. Well, Oz is a very queer place and has always been.
Yeah.
Even from the L. Frank Baum books, it's always been queer.
Yeah. I think so, for sure.
Gay.
Hey, we'll take it.
Dear God, there's more. No.
They got to do this crap with everything. They got to rewrite history, and they're doing, oh, well, I think Oz has always been a very queer place, going back to the books by Frank L. Baum. No, it wasn't. It effing wasn't. That was never true. That is a gaslighting. That is a retroactive rewrite of history. This is something that cults do, Producer Jack. I'm actually a little bit familiar with this because of my background growing up as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, because they try to establish themselves, of course, as the only true religion that's functioning in modern society right now. Only true religion, Jehovah's Witnesses. And so in order to help construct this narrative, they reach back into time and then retroactively claim prominent historical figures as retroactive Jehovah's Witnesses, which is hysterical. So William Tyndale, a Bible translator in England. Well, he was serving Jehovah, you see, or Martin Luther, famously the founder of Lutheranism, when he gave his write-up to the Catholic Church, the 10 points that he nailed on the front door. Oh, well, he was retroactively a Jehovah's Witness. He was serving Jehovah's purpose, you see. So they try to poison, they try to take credit, and they try to poison the well with their own narrative. What were you going to say, Producer Jack?
Gotcha. I've heard that they try to say that you have a problem with your life or something, or I don't know if I'm seeing the incorrect videos or something.
Oh, well, I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses generally believe that everybody has a problem with their life. They believe that if you're not part of their religion, then you're part of false Christianity, and you're going to be murdered by God in the apocalypse. So they're all kinds of screwed up, as are the liberals who are trying to infect every element of pop culture with this messaging woke bullcrap, and people are sick of it. And I guess now, if this is the direction that the Wicked movie is going to take, in addition to Cynthia Erivo just being a jerk going after fans, maybe this movie won't perform as well in the box office. We shall see. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle, 93 WIBC. I also wanted to play a couple highlights this week from Karine Jean-Pierre. The final days of her as press secretary are hilarious. She is getting asked increasingly uncomfortable questions and offering word salad response as her answer. This time she was confronted by Peter Doocy asking if the meeting between her and between Kamala and Joe Biden after the election was awkward at all, which of course, but no, can't even address the elephant in the room. These people are so nakedly dishonest.
We know that today, a week after the election, President Biden and Vice President Harris had a private lunch. How awkward was that?
I don't even understand. Why would it be awkward?
Because the president got squeezed out for her, and then she kept him at arm's length, and then she lost, and now she's back.
Why would you characterize it as awkward? They have regular lunches. They meet and talk regularly. Why would you call it awkward?
There's no weirdness about the way that things have unfolded.
Did you see them? Did you see them together yesterday as well, when they honored our veterans and were together during the day, making sure that we didn't forget the brave men and women that fought for this country? Did you see them together yesterday? Did you see the show of force together? This is. I'm not even going to take the premise of the question. What I will say is the president and the vice president had lunch today. They've had lunch many times. They have they communicate with each other regularly.
Shite. Oh yes, that's shite.
I just love the levels of crap that she is shoveling out. And here was another interaction with the press corps in which she's caught between a rock and a hard place because she's having to defend from the idea that Joe Biden called Donald Trump a threat to democracy, and that is still true. But they're also going to work on the transition together because she cares about democracy so much. This is hilarious.
We saw a unified front related to a transition in the Oval Office meeting, but a lot was said on the campaign trail, like Trump is a dangerous threat to our country and our democracy. Was there an apology today?
I'm sorry?
Was there an apology from President Biden for the words, some of the words used?
An apology from the President Biden.
To President-elect Trump for some of the words that was used on the campaign trail.
Look, and I've answered this a couple of times about a threat to democracy in the past week. The president is going to always feel obligated to be honest with the American people. What he says still stands. And it's not just him. You heard this from former staffers. You've heard it from the former chief of staff, John Kelly, and others. You heard it directly from the president-elect, the former president, about enemy of the people. Very, very clear. Very clear. What we want to be also very clear about is the importance of listening to the will of the American people.
The reason I'm telling you all this is because I'm playing both sides so that I always come out on top.
You can't have it both ways. Donald Trump can't be Hitler 2.0 and a threat to democracy, and also the fairly and freely elected president of the United States that we're working toward a peaceable transition of power with. If you literally thought Donald Trump was a fascist who was a Hitler 2.0 and was going to get potentially tens of thousands of Americans killed because of his awful policy, you would not be working on the transition. And this is why people see how disingenuous Democrats are. It's the same problem that I had, bringing up my background as a Jehovah's Witness again. Like, they preach that the end of the world, the apocalypse, Armageddon, as they call it, is right around the corner. Right around the corner. If you don't join in our organization, then God's probably going to murder you forever. If you really believed that, if you really thought that millions of people were going to die from a supernatural force, think about it. You would be running, screaming from the top of your lungs, grabbing people by the shirt. Wake up, you got to join the organization right now or God's going to kill you. But they don't really think that that's true, because you would be acting much differently if that was the case. Similarly, if they really, really thought that Donald Trump was Adolf Hitler 2.0, they would not be so gleefully working on this transition of power, plain and simple. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. Tony Hinchcliffe, comedian, broke the code, standing up to the leftist bully tactics, and we'll tell you about that coming up in the next segment. Stay tuned.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Looking for a great place to go for car care?
Hi, this is Lonnie Hinkle from Jiffy Lube, and I'd like to share the top 5 reasons that every Hoosier should trust Jiffy Lube to help keep their car running safe and well. Number 5, our computer system holds the maintenance data for every make and model. We know exactly what your car needs and when it needs to be done. Number 4, Jiffy Lube's training system is in the Training Magazine Hall of Fame. Along with companies like Ritz-Carlton, Starbucks, and Nordstrom's, our team does the job right. Number 3, you never need an appointment. We are ready to serve you whenever it works best for you, so come on in and see us. Number 2, Jiffy Lube accepts competitor coupons so you can get our great service at the desperate price of our competitors. And number 1, Jiffy Lube is a one-stop maintenance shop, and we make it easy for you to take great care of your car. Avoid the repair shop by getting your maintenance done at Jiffy Lube. And we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores.
So head to Jiffy Lube. There's really no reason to take your car anywhere else. Fall in Indy is great, but don't spend it painting. Do what your neighbor Don did. He called Rhino Shield.
Well, the home was built in 1948. Paint on the aluminum siding was peeling, and I couldn't find anyone who would repaint it until I called Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield's better than paint. And the crew?
Painted all my aluminum siding, and I've got a front porch that runs the whole length of the house and all the pillars. And once they were gone, I couldn't even tell that they were there.
And right now, Indy, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers.
Well, I've told a lot of people, do the Rhino Shield. It's really a great product, and that would be the way to go.
And here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. This is Saturday Night on The Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Short segment for you as we wrap things up here on Saturday Night on The Circle. Of course, Tony Hinchcliffe, comedian, appeared at the Madison Square Garden rally for Trump, caused the left to go apoplectic. They sent the bully mob after him, tried to cancel him, and Tony Hinchcliffe cracked the code on how to stand up to their bully tactics. Don't give him an inch.
Last night, I gave a speech. I don't know if you've heard about this. It was a speech about free speech, believe it or not. And I'm currently under attack. I'm the news. I don't know if you guys know this, but on my speech on free speech, I referenced Puerto Rico, which currently has a landfill problem in which all of their landfills are filled to the brim. I guess I'm the only person that knew about this, unfortunately. And with that said, I just want to say that I love Puerto Ricans. They're very smart people. They're smart, they're street smart, and they're smart enough to know when they're being used as political fodder. And right now, that is happening. And I apologize to absolutely nobody. Not to the Puerto Ricans, not to the whites, not to the blacks, not to the Palestinians, not to the Jews, and not to my own mother, who I made fun of during the set. Nobody clipped that. No headlines about me making fun of my own mother. Perhaps that venue at that time wasn't the best place to do this set at. But in any matter, to the mainstream media and to everybody trying to slander me online, that's what I do. I go hard, and that's never going to change.
Listening to Saturday. That's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on The Circle. See you next week.
We know to contact Indiana 811 at least 2 working days before every dig. But did you know spraying a white